Hey everyone, and welcome. We've put this guide together just for you, our clients, to help make this coming tax season the smoothest, most stress-free one yet. So let's get right into it. Look, we know, tax prep can feel like a huge, overwhelming task. You're trying to gather all the right papers, make sense of the rules, and all while that deadline is looming. It's a feeling that millions of us get every single year. But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to be that way. Seriously, if we just do a little bit of prep work and get a handle on the key pieces of the puzzle, we can turn all that stress into confidence. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Okay, first things first, let's talk about what I like to call the gatekeepers. These are the handful of items that can bring a tax return to a dead stop if they're missing or incorrect. Getting these right from the very beginning is absolutely the key to a smooth process. First up, Social Security numbers. And I can't stress this enough. This is non-negotiable. Every single name and number on your return, that's for you, your spouse, and especially any dependents, has to match the official Social Security records perfectly. Even a tiny typo can cause the IRS to reject credits you deserve, so it's so important to double-check those cards. Next up is the IP PIN, or Identity Protection PIN. Now, if the IRS has ever sent you one of these 6-digit numbers in the mail, you have to have this year's new PIN to file. And yeah, you heard that right, they send you a new one every single year. Without it, your e-filed return will just get bounced right back. So please, find that letter or get your PIN online before we get started. Here's another absolute deal breaker, Form 1095-A. If you or anyone in your family got your health insurance through the marketplace, like healthcare.gov or Estate Exchange, we simply cannot finish your tax return without this form. It's not optional at all. It's what we need to square up your health insurance credits. And of course, if you're looking forward to getting a refund, you want it fast, right? For direct deposit, we've got to have your correct bank routing and account numbers. A little typo here won't get the return rejected, but it will definitely mean waiting longer for your money. And finally, let's talk about investments. If you're using platforms like Robinhood, Fidelity, or Schwab, you have to wait for their official tax documents. Now, here's the key thing to remember. These forms almost always show up much later than your W-2s, sometimes not until the middle of February. It is so important to be patient and wait for these forms to make sure everything is reported correctly. All right, now that we've got the must-haves out of the way, let's look at what's new. This section is all about some new developments and opportunities you'll want to be aware of for the 2025 tax year. So here's an interesting one that's new for 2025. There's a new provision that opens up a potential deduction for the interest you've paid on a personal car loan. This is a brand new area, so if you have a car loan, make sure you have your interest statements handy so we can dig in and see if you qualify. And in that same vein, there's another new rule that could mean a potential deduction tied to any income you've earned from tips or overtime. Again, this is a fresh development, so it's definitely something we'll want to explore together if that's part of how you earn a living. Okay, let's switch gears to a topic that a lot of homeowners can benefit from, energy credits. These are really fantastic ways to get rewarded for making your home more efficient, but the key to unlocking them is keeping good records. The first bucket here is the home improvement credit. This covers a lot of the common upgrades you might make, like putting in new windows, adding insulation, or getting a more efficient furnace or air conditioner. The most important thing, and you're going to hear me say this a lot, is documentation. You absolutely need your receipts, your invoices, and any certifications from the manufacturer for these items. The second big energy credit is for clean energy projects. This is for the bigger stuff, right? Like installing solar panels, solar water heaters, or maybe a battery storage system. And just like with the other improvements, having detailed records of when it was installed and how much it all costs is the only way we can properly claim this credit for you. Okay, let's pull back the curtain a little and talk about the two fundamental building blocks of every single tax return: what you made, your income, and what you can subtract, your deductions. So everything starts with your income. We've got the usual suspects, of course, like W-2s from your job or 1099s if you're an independent contractor. But we also have to remember things like interest from your savings account, dividends from stocks, any gains from investments, retirement money, or rental income. The first step is always just gathering all of it together. So once we know your income, we look for ways to reduce it with deductions. And you've got a choice here. You can take the standard deduction, which is just a simple fixed dollar amount for everyone, or we can itemize, which means we add up a list of your specific eligible expenses. The goal is super simple. We pick whichever path saves you more money. We only itemize if your personal list of expenses adds up to more than the standard amount.
So you might be asking, what kind of things would make it worth itemizing? Well, the most common ones we see are mortgage interest, state and local taxes, you might hear that called the SALT deduction, donations you've made to charity, and large medical expenses. If you've got big numbers in any of these areas, we will for sure run the comparison for you.
All right, let's bring it all home. Let's walk through a clear 5-step path that shows you exactly how the process works with us. This is how we keep things organized and, most importantly, stress-free. Step 1, schedule your appointment as early as you can. It really helps to avoid that late season rush in March and April. Step 2, use the checklist we give you to gather up all your documents. Next, step 3 is to upload those documents to our secure portal before our meeting. This saves a ton of time. Then step 4, we have our meeting to go over everything and answer all your questions. And finally, step 5, once you give the final okay, we file your return and you can file it with total confidence. See, it's a really straightforward process. By following these steps and just understanding these key pieces, you really can be. This whole thing is about taking back control of the process so you can move forward with clarity, not anxiety. So what do you say? Are you ready for a calm tax season?
And to wrap things up, I just need to share a quick but very important disclaimer. This guide was created for educational and informational purposes only. It is intended for clients of Igor Dickney CPA. It does not constitute tax advice. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to working with you.